minutes.
Doesn't look too good for John McEnroe. The last time that he beat Boris Becker was in 1983 in Milan. And that point, by the way, Becker was ranked about 500 and something. McEnroe was the #1 player in the world. Since then, it has been all Boris Becker, including that Stratton Mountain win that you saw on ESPN alongside us, and the other one, the Classic in the final. We've already told you about the WCT Dallas win, Brad Gilbert in the final. Indianapolis, it was Jay Berger. As I said, you watched that alongside us. Skippy Ings is in the chair for this match. Very well-respected professional umpire. On the other hand, Becker has won the big ones, as you said, Fred, Wimbledon and the US Open. He also won in Philadelphia, beating Tim Mayotte in the final, and in Milan over Alexander Volkov of the Soviet Union in the final. Very, very successful year for both players. I don't know how many people felt 2 years ago that McEnroe would make it back to #4 in the world. He's, of course, not satisfied with that spot, but I tell you, in today's competitive tennis situation, it is not that easy to do. Let's try and hear Becker.
Let's check it out now. Let's check it out now.
Becker is talking to Skippy Ings in the chair about something. I didn't catch it also.
Becker's on his second visit here to Paris for the indoors. He won the inaugural event here in 1986. Became the tournament's first champion. McEnroe, this is his third visit. He's been to the semi-finals or quarter-finals, at least the quarters, on a couple of occasions. Quarter-finals both times. In '86, he lost to Sergio Casal in straight sets, and last year in a very tough match against Jakob Hlazic.
Well, up till now it's okay, but if there's a problem, you come and tell us.
Okay, there is a problem going on down there as you were talking, Fred. I still haven't really figured it out. I don't think we'll hear too much more about it, or will we? We'll see. Nevertheless, Becker now ready to start serving after McEnroe took his final serve warm-ups. Best of 3 sets today. The final tomorrow will be best of 5. And you can see that match here alongside us on ESPN.
Un peu de silence, s'il vous plaît. Ready? Jeu.
First ball, Becker to serve.
On that far side, the Cyclops, who's been that calls the lines, has been missing calls all week long, especially calls long. Stefan Edberg was worried about that a little bit in his quarterfinal yesterday. Just on that side.
Interesting, because that was a second serve, and because of the overrule, Boris Becker gets 2 serves, the opening point of the match.
This will be such a big part of today's story if McEnroe can really climb on top of the returns. And I have a feeling he'll get a look at quite a few second serves today. Becker's been very erratic serving all week long. He had 7 double faults yesterday against Wally Masur. He had 11 the day before against Guy Forget, the Frenchman, who had this place rocking because he played so well against Becker.
Fine return of serve there from McEnroe off that second serve from Becker, and that's where I think he's got to keep that ball low. And Becker didn't even get a look at that volley, had to play the half volley, and that allowed McEnroe the time he needed to thread the needle down the line.
It has not been an easy week for Becker, as you just said. Forget played so well against him, and yesterday, Wally Masur at a certain time, close to having him on the ropes.
Wally Masur was a qualifier here. He had to beat some very tough players. This field was so strong, there are only 3 from the top 20 that didn't play in this event. Connors, Agassi, and Lendo. Wally Masur had to beat in the qualifying young Jim Courier, the fine American who just won a Grand Prix title a couple of weeks ago, beating Edberg in Basel. Incredible strength of field.
First round, Wally Masur beat Kevin Curran, and then Mancini, who had beaten Mats Wieland in the first round.
So it's tough when you come into an event like this. You've got the world's #1 for a short period last year, Mats Wielander, who's not even seeded here and loses first round.
Fred, the doubles field was even more astonishing. John McEnroe and Mark Woodford, the Aussie with whom he won the U.S. Open, came in and saw that they had to play Flack and Seguso first round in doubles here. McEnroe went up to his manager, Sergio Palmieri, and said, "We play Flack and Seguso first round." And he said, "They're not seeded?" And McEnroe said, "We're not seeded."
30-all, first game. The men's singles final tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern Time on ESPN. Winner of this match will play the winner between Ed Berg and Aaron Krickstein.
Counter-arms, throw-arms.
It's one thing to talk about the double faults of Becker, and of course they hurt him, but whether McEnroe will be able to attack the second serve or not is an open question. You saw him do it on the first serve point, but that's not going to be that easy because Becker misses a few second serves, but he doesn't take much off it, and that's why.
Becker.
Becker holds on. 1 game to love for Becker in the semi-final of our live coverage of the Paris Open from Paris.
Premier jeu. Au service, McEnroe.
McEnroe ready to serve his first serve game of this best-of-3 set match. He's playing Boris Becker, the #2 player in the world. He's also #2 player on the Nabisco Grand Prix point standings, the race for the Nabisco Masters in New York that you'll see on ESPN. Clearly, both of these players, McEnroe's #5 right now. He has qualified, so has Boris Becker. Ivan Lendl leads the pack by a long way. He's not here. Called wide.
We've talked a lot about the serves of both players, and if they both serve just reasonably well, then it's going to be the player that returns that serve better that is going to get into tomorrow's final. McEnroe started off taking the second serve, but then the increased horsepower on Becker's second serve got him through the first game.
McEnroe again he's complaining about that far court, the Cyclops machine. It's been under question all week.
That ball was as far out as that other one was in.
So who made the call? That's what I want to know.
Well, I didn't get it. There's no light came on the box.
So that means the machine called it in, right?
No, the machine didn't make it. No, one of those.
So that means that if the machine didn't make a call, that he called it in.
Sorry?
The machine didn't make a call, so he called it in, right?
No, the machine didn't make a call at all, so he called what he said.
So are we playing the machine or are we not playing the machine?
I must admit, after this call here and that call there, I'm having serious doubts.
So let's have them make the calls then. No machine, right?
Okay. See what, if both you guys are happy to turn the machine off, after those 2 calls, the one overruled for you and that one there.
I would be happy. You would be happy? Yeah, that's fine.
Okay? Okay, let's see. Okay?
That's fair enough, played in a good spirit.
Yep.
McEnroe is quite within his rights asking about the machine, who's making the call, whether it's the human call of the linesperson or the machine call of the Cyclops. So they're going to dispense with the Cyclops and go with the human eye.
Well, let's be fair to the machine. It doesn't often happen, but as you pointed out, Mary, there have been a lot of complaints from the players just on that particular side. I judge they will keep the other side on because I think that side has been accurate.
No, Richard Ings just said that if you're happy to take the Cyclops off and play without it, let the linesman make the call.
Counter-arms, set.
McEnroe's done a good job of mixing up his serving at Becker to try to keep him off balance. You know, normally the way McEnroe serves, he puts people in defensive positions, but Becker always tries to come up with aggressive replies, so you really got to keep him guessing.
See, McEnroe, in my opinion, Mary, does that to everybody. He just mixes up that serve so well. And that's probably the single toughest element about playing against him. McEnroe holds on 1 game all in the first set.